Josmar Trujillo, Josmar. Last name is Trujillo.
Say it again. No, let him continue.
Josmar Trujillo. I'm a member of New Yorkers Against Bratton. We're here with some of our members and our supporters and our allies here today to rally in front of the steps of City Hall and call out the commissioner for his broken windows-based policing policy that seems to somehow escape the scrutiny of the City Council. As we sit here, as we stand outside of a hearing today for training, which is another in a long line of hearings and conversations around training that we've been going and having in our communities for maybe decades. And I'd like to just point out that since we're here essentially in the aftermath of the death of Eric Garner in Staten Island, that the way that he died by a chokehold has been banned for over 20 years. So trainings and retrainings really have a very small effect on the culture of brutality and the NYPD. And we're here to say that it's the policy. As Bill Clinton once said about the economy, it's the policy, stupid. It's basically the broken windows policy that creates needless interactions with thousands and thousands and millions of New Yorkers for the lowest level crimes like riding a bike on a sidewalk, performing on a subway, things that in the theory of George Kelling's broken windows theory are supposed to, the crackdowns are supposed to somehow stop larger crime. The policy needs to be overhauled. The policy needs to be, the focus of it needs to be ended. And we're also here to bring light to the lack of accountability, not just with individual police officers, but with their supervisors and ultimately with the commissioner himself. Accountability doesn't seem to be working when we have these trials, when we have these press conferences about individual cases. We don't seem to get to the core of the problems. And again, it's policy and it's accountability. These police officers and their supervisors and the commissioners need to be held accountable. This is something we've been saying from day one. We knew that Commissioner Bratton wouldn't address these issues because he didn't address them between 1994 and 1996 when he was here. So now I'm just going to open it up to some of our speakers quickly. We're going to just speak a little bit about what some of their issues from the community. Again, these are not paid professional, lobbyists or activists. These are grassroots people from the community. So we're going to start it off with Agnes Johnson from Harlem, who's been a long-time community activist.
Where are you from?
I'm from East Harlem, New York.
Are you a part of the group New York Against Brutality? Yes, I am.
Kind of step in the middle.
Do you guys have like a website? Yes, you can find us on Facebook. I'm part of a lot of groups. Okay, I go way back to the Johnny Gamage case. If you remember the Johnny Gamage case, he was killed in a chokehold. Okay, his cousin was Ray Sears. Remember him? He was a friend of mine who died at 33 for no apparent reason other than he was driving in a white neighborhood in a very rich car. But I'm here this morning because we know, you see these people behind me, a lot of different colors, we are victims and survivors of colonialism. We know about lynchings and chokings, don't we? And what we're getting this morning is a watered down, as usual, and leading us to the wrong path. We have, for all these years, protested, marched, went to court, organized in the community, had teaching to know your rights and all of that, to end up with police training. That's what we're going to end up with. I live in Vanessa Gibson's area, and I can tell you from 2010 to 2012, our community organized because we found the dumping of men's transitional shelters and sexual predators breaking Megan's Law in our zip code. She hid. I have a personal relationship with Mr. de Blasio's Hammer Wolf because we called, walked in, and documented how the community was not benefiting from the Community Benefit Agreement. This happened in Vanessa Gibson's zip code area. If you remember the little boy, 7 years old, taken out of his school without his parents' knowledge and handcuffed in a precinct. Now don't tell me just a few bad apples saw that boy there. That entire precinct is part of that. That is not part of police training. That is a mindset. So we're here to say that these laws, such as the penal law that governs stop and frisk, must be removed. If you need to know that is Penal Law Section 140.50, aka stop and frisk, and also the parade laws, which set into motion 10 or more people had to get a permit from the NYPD to stand in front of your own project. The other thing is the restaffing of the CCRB. Mayor de Blasio knows it's a setup. It's a setup because the chair is a former friend from LA of Mr. Bratton, and many of the people on the panel are holdovers from Bloomberg. So we didn't do all this marching and all this protesting and all the civil suits that went through to now be betrayed by traitors, and we know who they are. And we're going to call them out today and every day. It would not be happening without the hands of traitors. So we do not want this for our children. We are not political pawns, and our children will not be your prey. And that's why I'm here this morning. Thank you.